Hello everybody. I nearly didn't put the sound on, but I remembered. So that was only like a tiny second of panic, and it's over already. So welcome to our tutorial today to make a little woven blanket like that. And of course you can make it bigger if you but we're just sticking to a small one, so because we want to learn how to make this. And you've also got a cardboard hopefully ready, and maybe one of these weird looking needles. If you've got a large darner, or this is the sort of needle that you often get in your needle kit that you buy in the supermarket, and then you don't know what to do with it, that works really well. Maybe you've got a proper weaving needle, maybe you've got a proper weaving loom. That's absolutely fine. You don't need it if you've got a cardboard of a shape and size like that. And deep breath. It's yeah, let's just chill into this. It's going to be a really easy tutorial. We're going to do lots of chatting, lots of drinking tea. Hopefully I'll see lots of beautiful blankets, and even though I'm not making an identical one, I'm actually going to try a few other things. I've got some wool tops here that I'm going to try. I've got obviously I've got the yarn here as well, that's like pencil roving, like this. I thought, why not try and add a bit of sparkle into it? So I've got some sparkly yarn there as well. So it's this extra special pet blanket, because you have been making extra special dachshunds. I've seen them. They are amazing. I love every single one. I cannot believe how different they all are, and how adorably beautiful and fantastic they've all turned out. So I'm totally in love with all of your dachshunds, and they so deserve a pet blanket, one for each dog, of course. So yeah, I just absolutely love it. Let's have a quick look who is actually here today. So we have got, oh, lots of you chatting already. Emma is already there. Thank you very much, Emma, for supporting us here as usual. Mo is there, Helen is there, Diane is there, Jane is there, and I'm just gonna have to put my phone on do not disturb, because I don't want to get a be very embarrassing. Helen is actually crocheting a little mat to go with them, so that's really lovely too. Hi Rachel. I think Rachel has is there with Daniel, but he's got a peg loom, so if you have a peg loom, that works fine too. The peg looms, if you might not know what they look like, but they are on they have a base, and then they've got literally pegs sticking up, and instead of going you basically weave from the top rather than from back to front. And glad you still tune in with us. Yes, thank you for tuning in, Helen, even if you're not making. Teresa is there. Oh, Teresa is needle felting her hugging bears. If you haven't seen our hugging bears yet, or the bear hugs kit, then pop onto our website. It is an absolute must, and they could also do with a little blanket, of course. Diane is there, not sure whether to make 3 little blankets or 1 big one. I suppose I could always make 4. Yes, of course you could. You could also make 3 little blankets and then sew them together if you feel that they need to be bigger. And that goes for everybody. If you want to size up your blanket, you could make small ones and then sew them together. Bought some wool from you. Thank you, Diane. Alicia says he was too busy chatting to everyone on the other thing. Oh, I think you've got a secret group going, haven't you? Faith. Oh, hi Faith. We missed you the other day. Faith is here. Faith is back. Who else is here? Betsy is there, and Kathy is there, and Lizzie is there, and Carol is there. Just watching today. So lots of you are watching. Maybe you haven't got the weaving bug yet, but that's fine. It's just lovely to have you all here with us. So I don't mind what you're doing at the other end. You don't even have to tell me. Maybe I don't even want to know. So anyway, this is the size that I'm aiming for, or a little bit bigger probably, because I'm going a little bit wider. So this is the card in relation to it. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to bend the ends of this card in so that I have, the reason why I'm doing this is because I need a ridge. I need something here which helps when the yarn that goes across that you weave in and out of, that will sort of lift it off the card, so it becomes a little bit more, it becomes easier to insert your needle as you're weaving back and forth. I've got an itchy nose again. So once you've done this, bend your card in, then you need some scissors, and this is not rocket science, okay? If you feel you need to measure this out and put little dots on the side, feel free of doing that. I don't do that. So I'm going to go a little bit closer up. I'm actually just going to check my close-up camera because I have a feeling it's not in the right place. Well, I'm just going to adjust it a little bit, so just bear with me. It's either that is not in the right place or I'm not in the right place, but I can, there we go. So I folded this in there like that, and now I'm going to cut sort of in less than a centimeter distance. I'm cutting little, oh, these naughty doggies, they're making everything focus in on there, but not where I want it to be. Let's try and see if I can do this. So can you see how I've been cutting into here with my scissors? There, trying to, it's a very naughty camera because it focuses in on exactly the bits you don't want it to focus in. Is everything covered now? Come on, you've got to focus on here now. No, it's focusing on the little blanket down. Oh no, no, that might just work. Okay, here we go. So little ridges, you cut them in here. As long as you sort of cut them as close as possible together as you can. I'm just going to go down again. I'm going to do this down here now. Then that's fine, and you don't need to count and don't need to worry too much. I'm just going to cut as I'm going, just like just so that enough that they're side by side, and you can use them in a minute. So I'm doing one side. I've cut them as close as I can without cutting one in half or cutting it off basically, which is what I don't want. And as you're doing this, this will also help that folded edge that you folded over here. It will sort of stop it from popping up again because the cut will kind of fuse the bit together. So I'm just going to count it just for the sake of it. That's 2, 4, no, yes, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23. You don't need to make the same amount of cuts on each side. It's as long as they're opposite each other. So you might have only 20 on this side, or you might have 24, even 25. This is what I'm saying. If it really disturbs you that you don't know how many you're doing, as long as you try and cut them as close together as possible, it doesn't matter if one of them is just not used. So you, in a minute, you will see when I thread the yarn through it, you will see that I try and keep them opposite each other. So it doesn't matter if one of them is unused. So don't worry too much about that. But I counted 23 on one side, and I'm going to count this side now, just to see if I've got the same amount. That'd be so exciting if it was, but it might not be. Right, let's see. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I've got 24 on this side, and that's absolutely fine. It really doesn't matter. So as long as when you thread the yarn through one, when you start threading the yarn, that they're kind of opposite each other. So there will be on one side, there will be one that stays open. Now for this, I'm using a strong yarn. I don't want to use a yarn that tears easily, especially you don't want to use the finger roving, because that is really tears quite easily, because it's not even plied, so it comes apart quite easily. I don't want to, I mean, you can see that it does. So you don't want a yarn that tears easily. You could even use strong cotton. This one is quite good. It doesn't sort of come apart. And all I'm going to do now is I put a couple of knots at one end like that. Try and put them on top of each other, or just keep going if you haven't managed that. I'm just putting a couple of knots on there. So I've got like a bobbly end now on one end, like this. And then I am going to trap that here so that it's on the smooth side, not where the fold is. This is now on the smooth side, one of these strands. Just going in there, trapped here, and now I'm going across the top part here. And all I'm doing is I'm literally going back and forth. So I'm going behind and over the top, and then keeping that nice and taut. If you have a thinner card than I have, what might happen is this. You get a crinkly card. I wouldn't worry about that at all if that happens. That just means that you've got even nicer space to go in with your needles. So don't worry about that. This one is a really thick card. So all I'm doing now is I'm just going back and forth with, so the back looks just like the top, but the yarn is really flat on it. Here, it has got that gap, which is what I've created by folding these two ends over. And going back and forth until you get it, till you get to the other side. So the more you go along it, the more likely it is that you're pulling that card slightly together. But again, as I say, don't worry about it. As long as it doesn't roll into a ball, you'll be absolutely fine with it. And as you know, I will have an extra cut ridge or cut slit there, which I am just going to ignore. I find it easier just to cut into the cardboard rather than marking it out, because you just know how far apart these, because you need the absolute minimum of what they can be apart. And if you mark it, you might just think that you have to put them further apart, but you don't. You can actually get quite close with them. There we go. Oh, I've miscounted. I've got the same amount. How funny is that? There we are. I've done the same amount. There. Genius. Okay, so now you've got to do the same what you did at the beginning. You need to put a knot onto this so it doesn't come out. And what I do is I take it out and I put the knot where I know it needs to go, just sort of with your eye, try and remember it. It doesn't have to be in exact the right millimeter slot. And then when you've got the knot on there, then just put it back in. There is a flexibility here because you can pull the loom together a little bit. So so now you've made your own weaving loom. You can reuse them once you've made your blanket. At some point they will just disintegrate, I guess, but you can reuse them. So, but then everybody's got cardboard knocking around somewhere, especially if you buy from us. You get it often in a cardboard box, so you will have that anyway. Right, I'm just going to have a look what's happening here on the chitter chatter page. Ooh, lots of you. Oh my goodness. Yes, you can use all kinds of things to weave through your loom here, as long as you've got nice and thin strands. So this stuff here I'm obviously going to split. I'm not going to use the whole one. You could, but you have to have something that you can potentially thread onto a thick needle like a darner, or if you've got a weaving needle, better still. So I think I just need to scroll down a little bit. I've seen you all. Oh, Jackie is there as well. Hi Jackie. And just so you know, if you're wondering who I'm waving at, obviously when this is a live stream, people can leave comments, but the contents of this video with everything else is staying on YouTube, so you can rewatch this anytime. And if you're new to watching this particular tutorial, then just keep going and ignore if there's things that don't make sense to you, but that potentially that could be all the time. We'll see. Okay, so Alicia is there, and I'm just going to go a little bit bigger again so you can actually see my face. I'm here. I haven't gone away, sorry. Let's have another quick look. Who else is there? Okay, I got some cardboard now. This is addictive. My hands are killing me now just from cutting the cardboard. Oh, I'm so sorry, Faith. Yeah, don't, just relax. Often we're so intent on doing something that it can be quite yeah. Faith, couldn't resist, could you? I'm feeling like I'm back in Girl Scouts. Haven't done this in ages. Excellent. I love it when people dig out their childhood memories. My dog Duck Boy looks like a slug now. Yeah, they do go through different phases, as everybody knows. I couldn't find a box, so I'm using a plastic storage tray. Wish me luck. Yeah, well, your hands might hurt cutting into that. Right, let's go back and see what happens next. So I've got my weaving frame here, and now I'm going to choose what I'm going to use. You can make up a pattern. So with this one here, I started obviously at one end. I made that quite a large edge here, and then I used always like 2 back and forth. So one there, one back, in different colors, all the way until I thought, oh, let's just finish it off with exactly the same. So you've got an even pattern here. Now these red bits here will be blue on this one, okay? So because they all need to be cut off later, just in case you need to know how all of this sort of fits together. So I'll be perfectly honest, I haven't tried using these, but I know that they will work, but I might just save them for the middle bit maybe. So I'm going to use with what I do know that works and is quite easy to use. So I'm going to use some pink. Now, if you imagine, when you start weaving, you only ever need as much as you need to go from here to there and then back. So the shorter you make the rows, the shorter, if you only go once there and once back, it may mean that you have an edge that you need to sew in. So your rug from the back might look like this because all the edges had to be sewn in. I haven't actually tried bringing the thread with me because I don't want a loop at the end that you could sort of get caught in. So if anybody has got any useful tips, I'm open to it. This is quite new to me too. I'm not claiming to be the expert. So I imagine that I might do maybe 4 rows with the pink. So I just measure 4 rows of this for now, and I'm going to cut that off. Now I'm going to thread my needle with this. This is, by the way, this is the West Yorkshire Spinners Retreat, which is a blue face Leicester. We do sell this if you need to stock up on this. It's a 100% blue face Leicester roving, or they call it finger roving because it's so thin, though it's lot thinner than my finger. And it's an unplied wool, so it's literally just, it's like that, but much thinner. So it has a potential of, it could potentially tear quite easily. But anyway, you start now. So you go, the main thing that you're now going to do is, and I'll show you really close up, this camera zooms in nicely. You always go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. My needle isn't long enough, so I've got to pull this through now. So I'm pulling this through until I've only got enough left there that I can comfortably sew this in. Okay, and then I've got to look where I am here. So the last one I did was under, so now I need to go over and then pick up the whole pattern or rhythm again until I'm right at the end, and then I pull it through, and then I'm going to push this as far as I can to the edge. If you've got a proper weaving frame, it often comes with a comb, so you can push it along. With this one, you can just use your fingers. And then, because I've ended with an under here, so that pink has gone through the blue under, I now have to go over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. So always watch what your previous threading has been, so that if you can see, you've got for example, you've got an under here and an over opposite. So that's how you need to make sure. If that is wrong, if you get confused, then you have to unthread thread that bit, so check it as you're going along, because that is what holds the whole thing together and makes it look really neat. If you make a mistake, you can see it later. So it's that's the sort of thing that would annoy me. So I would definitely undo this. So this is 2 rows now. You can see it very clearly. I've started at this end with an under over and then all the way to the end, and then I did the opposite from the first row. So I'm going back again on myself. So I've finished with an over. So now I've got to do an under, and then an over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and pulling this into place, pushing it. So the sides will always pull in a little bit more, and that's okay. As you're going along, it will sort of stabilize as you're doing this. So just push these threads really close together so that you have no gap there. You will see a little bit of the blue because that adds to the charm. That's just part of the weaving finished pattern. And now I'm going to put the last one of this row on there. So I've started with stopped with an under, so I've got to do an over. Actually I went wrong. Look there, can you see? I've got 2 unders there, so I thought that looked a bit weird. So I've just got to undo to where I've gone there and put it right. There we go. So that's better. So now it looks correct there. So now I'm starting with an over again, an under, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to do that real quickly. Push that up. So depending on how long your needle is, you might be able to do that in one go, and also how wide your weaving loom is. There. So now I've come out at the same side. I've unthreaded the needle, and I'm just going to push this down with my fingers so that it makes a nice neat pattern there, like that. So satisfying to see that. So now I'm going to start with another color, and I might just have a go at this rainbow one here, see what that looks like. So I've got quite a long strand here. That would probably do me, I don't know, maybe 3. You don't have to have even rows. And I'm going to tear off a thin enough length there, like that, thin enough to thread my needle. Yeah, that's it. And it doesn't really matter which side you start. I think it's quite good actually to start sometimes on the other side. Otherwise you've got all the loose threads that you've got to sew in on one side, and that might make one side more bulky than the other. So I'm doing exactly what I've done earlier. I'm leaving enough here to sew in later, and I'm just going and follow my pattern opposite to the previous row that I've put there. And it should be really easy to spot if you're making mistakes. So just keep checking your weaving there. And it's just about a different color is coming through now. So I think it works really well with these color changing with the space dyed wool, because it's been dyed in sections rather than having the dye running across. So you can actually, it actually looks like you've used a different color wool. It's very nice. And of course we do them in all kinds of other colors. I'm just wondering if anybody's spotted something in the background, and if you have, wonder if you can tell what it is. There's lots of things but I will show you something in a minute. Right, so I've done my 2 rows, and now I'm going to do a 3rd one. Sorry, you can't see that when I'm holding it that way. I'll try and hold it towards the camera so I can still see what I'm doing, but you can see it too. Right, I'm getting my starting bit in a muddle here. Come out. Need to sew you up in a minute. There. I really want to try all kinds of different not fabrics, but fibers, so that you get a nice taste for how much fun this could be, not just for a pet blanket, but just trying out different shapes and things like that. There. So now I've got my blanket, looks like that. You can see that this is a lot thicker, so I could have potentially tried to tear that off a bit thinner, but that's fine. And oh, I meant to, oh, I've got curls here. Let's try some curls, because I think curls are fun too, because they will add a bit of structure into the whole thing. Oh, I hope you're all guessing what's here in the background. I had a whole nice selection of curls ready to bring downstairs, but I think I might have left them upstairs. That's really annoying. I might just ask Emma to ask somebody to see if there's a handful of curls on my desk upstairs. So let's see if they can find them. Okay, let's just see if anybody has spotted anything in the background. I'm just going to see what you... Okay. I was looking for one particular word. Oh yes, the hoggies are there. Definitely, Kathy, and I will bring those out as well. The sloths, yeah, the sloths, which is next month's subscription box. You can see molds. Definitely. Lizzie. Lizzie has spotted the otters. That's it. Otters are here. Okay, so this is what you can make next month. You can, sorry, August. No, September. Oh God. Next month is August. In August you can make the sloth wall hanging. You get the bamboo. Ooh, oh dear, otter overboard. You can get you get the oh dear, I'm wrecking the whole display. You're gonna actually make lots of pebbles to go with this, but we haven't quite got round to this, but at least you know what pebbles look like. So you can you make the sloths in August, the sloth wall hanging, and there's a one parent sloth with a baby hanging off it as well. And then this is I've shown you already the October project, which is the wolf. This one is the otter project with otter with a baby on her chest there, and then there is a sleeping daddy there. I think it's a daddy just hanging out, having fun there. So this is what you can make in September. I'll bring it a bit closer so you can really see it close up. There you go, sleepy daddy and an awake mummy with a baby otter. But maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's a sleepy mummy and an awake daddy. Who knows? But there's the baby there, and he's definitely, or she's definitely awake. So this is the project for, look at their cute faces. How cute is that? So cute. And this one, I don't want to disturb her, she's holding on to the baby. So you get all of this in the box, including all this wool to make a display. You can make some lovely seaside water there as well. And of course there are the sleeping sea otters. So well done, Lizzie, you spotted it. But of course there are other things that you can spot as well. But I'm going to do a little bit more weaving, and then I'll show some other things to you. So let's have a look. What can I use? Oh, let's use some more of this rainbow one. See if I can split it off a little bit thinner. There. Try and get some of that yellow in as well. So I'm going to start at this end. Thread the needle. If I start at that end, that will, no, I need to start at that end. Okay. Okay, so it's such a shame I don't have the curls here, but the curls that I had a handful of curls. Have I actually brought them down? I don't think so. They were, I think I put them on my desk, and they were just like sort of a selection of some of the Teeswater curls that we do. So if they can't find them upstairs, then that's okay. I can probably make do with the white curls here. But I had I thought, oh, I'll try them, because this is also quite new to me. So I've decided to start at this end because that last green bit here communicates or fits better with the tail of the new one that I started. So it's more like in the right rainwater. There we go. It's going in and out. There. How is that? There. So it's going to be a nice bright blanket. Putting this through, going back, and I'm going to probably use some different yarn in a minute to compensate for the fatter bit here. And what I will try and do is I'll probably try and do the same at the other end, so that I've got a bit of a pattern going here in itself, and you might have to sort of just adjust the bits. Oh, I think I'm getting curls now. Woohoo! My hand of curls is just emerged. There they are. So I can maybe use these next. I might actually fit another row in here. Try that. Hold that towards you, and I hope you're all, or some of you, are making your amazing blanket while I'm doing mine. I have to all share it. Thank you so much for sharing it on Everyone a Maker's Maker Facebook page, which of course we would love you to join. When you do join, please make sure that you answer 3 questions. That's all we ask. And if you invite somebody to join the page, which you can also do, tell them to also answer the questions. Otherwise, we don't know that who they are. So just ask them to answer the questions. And the questions are only so that we can find out whether you are there out of your personal private interest, and that you understand that the rules of the Everyone a Maker Facebook page is that, or group I should say, is that we only promote makers products there. So that's it really. So I've got my next rows done there. Let's try some curly curls. Ah, see, I knew I had some really nice ones there. We do sell these in bigger packs of individual style. The thing with the curls is I'm not entirely sure how often I get to go back and forth, but I think this one will allow me to go back and forth. So one time there and one time back. So 2 rows I can make with this. Yeah. Get that threaded in. I'm going to start at this end. So do my over, under, over, under, over, under, and so on and so forth. Leave a little bit so I can sew it up. Oh, I might not get back. I'll see. I'll see if I can get back. I want to get back. Yeah. I'll see if I can make just the screen a little bit smaller, because then you can probably see better what I'm doing there. And I'm going back now. This is going to be a tight squeeze to get back. I'm going to try, because I don't want to pull it too much either, because if I pull it too much, then I'm just going to pull the whole thing together, and I get sort of like a blanket with a waist, which I want it to be nice and even all along. So this is when it works well, if you're just pushing it up, because then, oh my goodness, this is very tight getting back here. But I think I might just manage and then have to sew it up in. Oh no, that's not the right. So I've gone under. Now I've got to go over, under. Oh yeah, that's better. It's quite easy to sort of make a mistake, so you have to watch what you're doing there. And then that tiny bit hopefully will be enough later to sew up. I'm gonna just put a knot on the end here so that I don't lose my pink one, and then I can sew them up later underneath. There we are. So one of these curls made with a bit of a squeeze and a stretch, I could just about make it there and back, so that's quite good to know. So the longer the curls, obviously, the more you can manage to go back and forth. So now I'm going to just use maybe, it's going to be very, very pink blanket, I think. I'm going to use some of this, and and do a bit more work back and forth. So I'll maybe do, no, I won't actually. I'll leave that at the very edge. I'm going to use more of this, or maybe this. Let's try the this one here. Sorry, you don't know what I'm talking about. This and that and this and that and this, can't you see? So I take a bit of this. There. And then thread the needle as I've done before. There we are. Little doggy is watching. Is this yours? Is it yours? I think it's got to be Peggy's. It's quite a bright coloured blanket, so might have to give that one to Peggy. And I'm going to start here, and I ended with, I need to go under, over, under, over. So if you're doing this with thin yarn, which you can, it just takes longer because you're going to fill that length up much quicker if you are using thicker yarn or wool, whatever you're using. There. That's it. That looks okay. I'm going back on that one. I really want to get it finished, so I'm heads down doing it, so you get to see what happens at the very end. So I'm choosing to stick with the thicker wool at the moment to get this done faster. Though the finer it is, the more sophisticated it looks, of course. There we are. And I think I can do one more time. Go one more time. Go back on myself. So it looks like that length that I've been using for from the wool tops, it allows me to go back and forth a total of 3 times. It's a nice mellow color, that purple that's coming through there. There we are. Okay, so I'm just over halfway now, which is good because I'm just about over halfway through with the tutorial. So that I really like that. It's quite different from this look when it's all the same and a lot neater, but I quite like the sort of more with the colors popping out. Depends what you like, whether you like a neat look or whether you like it a bit more higgledy-piggledy and different. And I'm going to choose another curl, I think. Might go for this bright rainbow here. Let's try that. I'm going to thread that. Maybe I need to thread the other end. This is quite a fat end. At least with curls you've got a choice. You can which end you want to thread, because it's got a thin end and a fat end. There. So I'm going the opposite again from what I did in the row before. Always doing that. The needles just come out. That happens when you've got the thin end threaded up. And under, over, under, over, under, over, finishing with an over. So therefore the next one I'm doing on my way back has to be an under, and then it's under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under, over. I've just pulled the needle out. You can do that if it's easier to adjust your row that you have made there. Where am I now? Oh yes, here we go. Nearly back. And with the curls, I will be honest, it is a tight. If you go any faster, you might any wider, you probably, and I will put a knot at the end because I don't want this to come out. And it's just to secure it until I have chance to sew the ends in. So they will obviously be sewn in at the end. Sorry, at the very end of all of this and underneath. So the curls add a little bit of texture to it in that the bubbles are sticking up, definitely. So right, let's use a bit more of what shall I use? Let's use a bit more of this. Again, I'm trying to keep it as thin as I can. Just tearing strands off there. Thread it on your needle. So I suppose the easiest would be if you well, you can't, I was just going to say if you just stuck with one color, but you still have to, of course, you still have to thread it through. So if you have a yarn or a top that it tears easily, then having to pull this for ages through might just increase the risk of tearing it. So I think it does work better to work with shorter strands of wool. And I think the maximum I did on this one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs. So 6 rows basically. So 3 there and 3 back. And that was probably sort of the most I could manage with a yarn. Always pulling that through, because you always have to pull it through to the end. I was going to say, if you could just stick with one wool, then that's the easiest and you have to the least to sew up, but it also means that you have a chance of tearing it. And I think I can make it back one more time with this. Okay, so there we go. That can go through there and get to the end and back again. Okay, just made it. Okay, I'm going to go on to a bigger picture now, because I've got to thread a new thread. I'm just going to have a look at what the comments are. Oh, hang on a second, I just need to go big again here first. Okay, there, you should see me again now. Let's just see what people are commenting, in case I need to show anything particular. Talking about curls. That's true, you don't need to use the extra display wool for the otters to make pebbles. You can just use them as they are. These are not even hardly needle felted. They certainly don't look like pebbles yet. What a wonderful oh yes, yeah, to use curls. Oh yeah, and oh, I haven't used my sparkly stuff. Oh my goodness, I've got to definitely put that in next. What else? I love them. Oh wow, this is really looking textured and colorful, Steffi. Oh, thank you. Catherine says, I love Disco Wizard. I want to be one of those. Yeah, that would be great to have a wizard with colorful beards and hair. Oh, so somebody's oh, did you make a Disco Wizard, Emma? I didn't know that. Have I seen that one? I probably have. It's looking great. Thank you, Faith. I just love the curls. I bought lots of them last time. Fingers crossed I get another gift card for my last birthday present this weekend from my good friend. Aha! I hope your good friend is watching. She'll definitely got the hint now. Oh, Erica is there. How are the cows? Have you got to rush off to bring them in again? Diane says, you thread needles really quickly, Steffi. Takes me ages, especially with fluffy ends. I will show you how to thread a needle. I will show you. Fear not, fear not. You should see the needle I'm using. It's huge. Yeah, a big needle definitely helps. And where do we get a bent needle then? Okay, so well, I don't actually know. You know, when you go to a supermarket and you just buy a needle, like an emergency needle kit, because you run out of needles, and no, they don't just sell one needle. That would be far too easy. They sell a whole pack, and you get these really curved ones. I think they're for sewing leather, so you can go in and go round. And this one here was part of it. And I think it is it like a sack needle or something like that, where you sew up sacks? I've no idea. And I've always wondered what I could use it for, and then I thought actually this is quite useful for using for weaving. So this has just been knocking around at my home. But just go to the supermarket, and I'm sure they still do sell these needle selection for when you need a needle, but you get actually 15 different ones and you have no idea what to use them for, and then they sit in your useful little toolbox for ages, and then one day you think, oh, that will do. So that's it. Supermarket needle kit, Faith. Absolutely, that's where you get them from, Faith. Cows are in already. Oh, you're early today. So right, I'm going to show you now how I thread needles, because that seems to be a common request. How does Steffi thread a needle? I never knew that was something special, but I will show it to you now. And I'm going to do it with this sparkly stuff. Ooh, I think I almost don't want to put it in because it's not in the middle now. That's really disturbing me that it's not in the middle. I wonder if I can push the rows up and sneak one in. Ooh, I'm going to sneak one in the middle. Okay, so I've gone past the middle. So I'm actually going to do something that I've never done before. I'm going to push these rows up a bit so I can sneak a sparkly row into the center. That is just a... Okay, there we go. So I've made a gap here. I hope you're all still with me. If you have to leave early, then of course I can't stop you. It's a shame, but we all have other things to do as well. We will be doing these live streams later in the day, come the end of July, because we thought, well, let's give our American friends even a bigger chance so they don't have to set the alarm at 2 in the morning. So I have now created a gap. This is completely, I've never done this before, which I think is big enough to put a sparkly thread in. Oh, I didn't show you how I thread needles. Okay, so this is probably not the best example, but this is my needle. It's got a relatively big eye, as big as my eye there. And what I do is I have my thread, but instead of trying to thread it in that way, what I do is I use my needle like this. I've got my thread there, and then I've put the needle underneath, so that I've now got a loop around the needle, and then I go as close as I can, pinch it at the top there, take it out, and then I have a really tight pinched top here. Can you see that? There. And then I put that through the hole, and then I've threaded my needle. I'll show you again the next time when I thread the needle in a minute. Right, so now I've got to find, so I'm going to put 2 rows on in the center of this rug that I've just made, and I've created a space. I hope I'm not going to regret this, because there's sparkly stuff over the dogs now. There'll be sparkly stuff everywhere, especially because it's a bit of a tight squeeze. But I'm going for it. I'm going, oh my goodness, and it's tearing as well. So you have to feed it through slowly. I might just be able to manage that. So this is now over. So this has to be, oh, what have I done? Hang on, this is right. This looks right. Over, under. Oh, I know what yeah, so I need to go back on myself, because I'm going by, yeah, it's fine. Don't panic, because if you're going only once through there, you're not in, you have to go through twice, because you're not in harmony with both sides, if that makes sense. You'll see if you have to, basically you have to go back and forth twice. That's what I'm trying to say. And you have to pull that through bit by bit, because this sparkly stuff is definitely keen to tear. So now I'm putting it all right again. Yeah, that's it. So you have to make sure that you get it back and forth twice, because otherwise you're going out of sync with the bits. I hadn't planned to put something complicated in there. You don't have to do this, by the way. Just do what you, just keep doing what you were doing if you're doing this. But I'm just showing you it is possible to add another one in after, if you pull your rows apart. It's just a little bit more tricky to follow the under over thing, because you've got to find that space in there. But I am getting there. Right, I've got to do one more attempt, get that through, and with this one you have to pull it right close to the thread, because it's it does separate quite easily. And then I'm out at the other end. Whew, that was a bit of a complicated addition. Under, over, that's it, I've done it. Okay, so, oh, and it's come off in the right place already. There you go. I've added my sparkly thread in the middle. So now I can just continue going along towards the end, and I'm nearly there. Show you how to thread my needle again. So I'm going to do some of this Cornish seaside, tear off a longish strand there. Now my needle is here. That's where I need to get through this hole. I've got my thread there, fold it over the needle, so it's now, and then I hold it really tight at the top. So when I pull this out, I've got just ever so slightly a tight area there that is doubled up. And now all I need to do is push that through the hole, which is quite easy, and then I'm done. I've got my needle threaded. And now I'm going to do that, go back and forth on here, on that end, nearly there. Okay, I'm going to speed this up a bit because I want to get to the end. I don't want you all to run off because you've, unless you fall asleep and I give you a really loud shout, and then you'll wake up just in time to see the end. There. Oh, I've had so much fun recently planning all the fairies for the end of the year and next year as well. I've got an amazing idea for a love fairy, which is actually going to be a Valentine's fairy, and it's going to be in January. It's so nice. I love it already. And there's going to be the autumn fairy. I'm going to make that next. So exciting. And of course, you've all spotted the hoggies. Oh yes, let's talk about the hoggies. So the hoggies are doing a trial run for Christmas. Of course, Homer isn't there, but they've got their Christmas tree out because they're so excited. So this is going to be a Christmas tree that you can make with one of the add-ons that you can add into your hoggy project pack for Christmas. And with that, there will be instructions, of course, and there's going to be instructions of how to needle felt little prezzies. Now, all of this we will support with live streams as well. And Homer is getting so excited because he really wants to know. Heather keeps teasing him that she's got a Christmas Day surprise, and he keeps guessing, and he keeps getting it wrong as well, and he keeps saying, what is it, can I eat it? And she says, no, you can't eat it. And he'll say something like, oh, how big is it? Is it really small? And she says, yes, quite small. And he'll say, I don't know, maybe you can think of questions you can ask that Heather can answer, just to give Homer a bit of an idea of what on earth is going to expect him on Christmas Day. What could it be? And so this is like the top secret, but it's not what you're thinking it is. So get it out of your head, right? Right, there we go. This is looking almost done. So I'm just whizzing back and forth with some of these strands. If any of you have got any questions, fire away. I will do this while I'm looking at comments at the same time, so in case I'm missing anything. Oh, Alicia's had a call from her brother in Texas. Parents aren't doing well. Oh, I hope everything's okay. So I thread needles that way, but doesn't work as easy as that for me. Okay, I'll do it again. So you've got your needle here. The trick is that you really, really make this a tight, small little loop here. So when you're ready to put the thread through, you're pinching it really tight and has no chance to, other than going through there. So right, let's have a little speedy weaving thread here, and I will show you, I can't show you all the time now how I'm threading needles, so, and then you can practice it at home. Just do lots of threading of needles. When you wake up first thing in the morning, thread a needle. So here we go. So I've chosen to make this as true to my style. I probably would have not felt too happy if it was like completely different from one end to another. I don't think there are any rules whether you should have you should start with a stronger yarn at one end or a less strong yarn at the other end. I really don't think it matters, because what will happen is with these bits here, you have to knot every single one, so you're trapping the last bit. Now this is too short to go back again, so I'm going to start with another one. Let's put another rainbow in there, and let's have a look while I'm doing this. Oh, I was going to show you how to thread a needle. So again, my needle, my thread, or in this my wool top there, and I am bunching this up, so I have not just a tight loop, but it's also really thin, like not broad. And then I go through, and then I've got my needle threaded, and I do wonder whether you could knot yarn and then just have the knot on the not visible side. I imagine you could do that. So if you wanted to knot the end of the yarn when you get to it, and just make sure that the knot is on the side that you don't show, because this is obviously not this is not a double-sided, that's the word I'm looking for, double-sided thing. So right. Oh, Jane, what did you miss? You missed the chat about the next fairy. I will tell you that again. I can't wait for August fairy. I'm going to be picking up the sub just for that one. Oh, love the tree. It is so pretty. We'll have to have it. Just had to start overdoing without a needle and doing poorly. Oh no. It's all very exciting. Okay, so the fairy is, first of all, the next month fairy is the sunflower fairy, which is sitting here. She's very well behaved. There she is. She's got beautiful wings to fit with her sunflower outfit, and she's got a sunflower at the front and a sunflower at the back, and she's got these beautiful brown curls and just really lovely. So this is my next month's fairy. The fairy I was talking about, Jane, is the Valentine's fairy, or what I'm going to call the love fairy, because yeah, I'm starting to design a lot of the fairies now for next year, so I can have them ready and have photos for you. And the also the one to watch out for is the autumn fairy. That's going to be the one after the sunflower fairy, and I'm also very excited about that one, because we have increased our range of skin color tones, and this is going to be, we're launching the new skin color tones at the beginning or the end of this month as well, so that's definitely something to watch out for. Right, I'm going to go with pink now, and if anybody else has missed anything, I don't know, did you see the Christmas tree, Jane? That was the Christmas tree, that with the presents, which will be an add-on for the Hoggy project, Christmas project, of course. So that one is all needle felted, and you can make the decorations and some presents to go with it under the tree. Now I'm going to finish with four, so 2 back and forth of pinks, and then my blanket is done, and I'll show you what you need to do to finish it off to make it look nice and neat. So last 2 there, and last 2 back. I'm trying to stop the yarn from getting caught in my threading. Oh, I should have shown you how to thread the needle. Oh, I can show you lots of times. By now you've probably got sick of it, me showing how to thread the needle. How often can you watch that? There we go. Okay. Didn't put any more curls in either, so it is slightly off kilter, but it looks quite nice. It looks sort of even in terms of the colors. I don't feel there's something missing, and I'm really, really pleased I've managed to get that white in the middle, the sparkly stuff. So as long as that is in the middle, which is quite a different looking type of texture. So I could probably have put another row or so on top of that, but I'm not going to, because I want to finish this woven blanket and get to the end of it. And I'm going to needles in my knitting stuff downstairs. Forgot I didn't have any up here. Oh no, Alicia, can't you go downstairs and get it? Yeah, or you need to you need, like me, you have to say the magic word and say, could you, somebody just get me whatever. It works like a treat here. I even got a cup of tea once because I forgot mine in the kitchen. There we go. I have left the room in the past and just shout really loud that I'm still here. Jane will tell you that. Right, so I'm not quite at the end, but I think that's okay because I can just cut the ends a bit shorter. So I'm taking the needles out now. So this is the bit where you've got to have strong nerves, because what will happen is that we have to cut these bits off so that we can knot them. And if you feel nervous, then what I suggest is you only ever cut 2 at a time. So you've got, in fact, I'm going to go really small for this one so you can see that really well. Right, so I've got 2 strands here. Now, if I knot these 2 together, I'm going to trap that here. So that's really useful. So I'm going to cut them at the back because you want a nice long thread there. So you actually have got space to cut them. Come on out. So now I've taken them out of that slit, and all I'm doing is I put a knot on top of that, and they're sorted. Okay. So then I'm going to cut the next 2 and take them out of their slot and knot that together. So you do have to secure these rows of woven threads that you've put in there, or yarn that has gone back and forth. Cut the next 2. If you have got strong nerves, you could just cut the lot there and then just always pull 2 through. That saves a little bit of time, but if you feel too nervous about it, then just only ever cut what you're ready to knot. They're pretty stuck in that gap there. Right, sorry, you're going to have to endure me doing this so you get to see the finished blanket. And here as well, I won't be sewing all the threads up behind it because that's just going to be it will send you to sleep, and I'd hate for somebody to say, sorry, I've fallen asleep. 5 hours later I realized that I've watched unintentionally zillions of other videos because they just automatically appeared on YouTube. That'd be so funny. There, if you watch long enough, you come round to this one again, no doubt. But while I'm doing this, I'm also looking at some of the comments so that it doesn't feel quite so isolated. Jane is very excited about the hedgehog boxes, not half as excited as I am. Okay, so now I've got a situation here. I've got 3 threads. And I only need to knot 2 basically, but I'm going to knot all 3. So I'm deciding that 2 of them will become 1. So I just hold 2 together and knot it with a 3rd, and that's fine too. So I've decided that 3 of them, 2 become 1. So now I've got all the frilly bits hanging off here, and now I've got to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to do now. Oh, that was the wrong one. Pulled the wrong one out. That one is the really short one that I started with. So I might as well use that one as because I have the same amount on either side. That was complete coincidence. I had 23, didn't I? So I'm just using, again, I'm using 2 as make 2 into 1. There. And then I'm just knotting 2 together at a time from there on. So I don't pull it really tightly, because obviously if you pull it really tight, you're just going to pull the rug together and make it like a what's the word? I can't think of it now. That instrument that you pull, a squeeze box. Is that what it's called? A squeeze box? So you don't want to pull it too tight. You just want to literally put a knot at the end of the woven rows, so that the rows don't slip off. They're now secured at that side, and then the next thing you need to do is you need to secure the ends by sewing them in, and that I will do at another time, but I will show you the finished rug because I can just tuck them under and then you can still see them. So still, oh yes, it's called an accordion. That's it, I've just remembered. An accordion. Squeeze box is another word, surely. There we are. That's it. And yes, you need your own personal Emma to organize bringing things. Yes, that's it. Everybody needs an Emma. Love these mats. I could make some for Charlotte's doll's house we're sorting for when she's older. That's a good idea, Jane. I love that. Make a little hand woven rug. How cute is that? You can also make them for decoration in and around the house if you want to use them as it's another word I can't think of now, but in any case, there it is. Let's have a look at it slightly bigger. There we go. Okay, so now ignore the sticky out bits on the side because I'm going to fold them over now, so they're gone. Okay, so you can't see them anymore. I can. Just going to prep this so that you can see what a beautiful rug this is. Get all the blue threads in the right direction, get all the others out of the way. So now you have got a rug there, and you can cut these tassels shorter if you want to. And on the back at the moment it looks really messy because all of these need to be sewn in. And I will just show you with one or two how to sew them in, because you don't want to make you don't want them to come out on the other side. So threading a needle for the last time. Got my thread here, hold it really tight, pull it out, put the loop through the needle eye, and then you obviously have to decide what's the front and the back of your rug, because at the moment they both look the same. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just literally going in and out of a couple of these little I don't know what they're called, like little mountains, and then back again, just so at the edge, so you don't disturb the actual texture of the rug. You will see this on one side, but you won't see it on the other side, and then just cut the thread. So I show you that once really close up. So I've got the end here that I need to sew in, thread the needle, and then go on the back on the wrong side, so all the threads get tidied away on the same side. I just go in and out a couple of times of some of these little loops that you've created by weaving, and then you go back on yourself, because that will secure the thread. That's just the going back, that is the most important thing, because it will pull itself tight then, and then you just cut it. So when you've got one that is a bit more tricky to sew in, like there's a really short one here, what you can also do is, instead of threading your thread, you do the going in and out of these little loops first, so you're almost paving the way. Go all the way until you get to the end of your needle, and then thread your wool, pull it through, and then you do the same on the reverse, because this is a really short end I've got here. So I'm going back on just through just a couple of these loops, the minimal disturbance of that rug. Go all the way to the end of the needle there, and then thread your thread through, and then just pull it out, and then cut the end off. There we are. So that's basically how you tidy the ends up. You're going to do that all along. This looks already tidy now. And then when you've done all of that, fold this out of the way. When you've done all of this, when you've tidied all of this up, you've got your rug ready there, and then you can decide whether you want these tassels here at the end, whether you want to trim them. So you can now, because you've knotted it, you can trim them a lot shorter. so that they don't sort of dangle about that much. There. So you've got a nice neat edge here, not these long bits there, and then that's just rubbish that goes in the bin. And that's basically how you make your little rug for your little doggies. And the size of the cardboard loom will obviously decide the size of they like it. They like it. Look, they're all cuddling up. Nice little doggies. So that's basically it. Short and well, not that short, but short enough. I'm just going to see what other comments are there. The other day, Steffi scared me to death. I thought someone had broken into my house. I heard a voice. Did I just start talking? Oh, I love it. Just thought rami fiber would make lovely soft mystical weavings. Yeah, that's really great, Emma. I'm not sure if angels and need blankets, but if they did, yes. So with a rami fiber you have to be really careful because it does separate really easily, even more easily than I don't think I've got any rami fiber here, even more easily than this. It's fine if you hold it close together, but as soon as you have a little bit of tension on there, it will just go. So make sure that you keep close to the work. Oh, Jane, I beat you to it, accordion. Alicia, I had accidentally left the YouTube on and it scrolled to the next show and she was loud. Yeah, I definitely am loud. That's brilliant, Alicia. Really cheering me up today with your patter, with your patter, with your chatter. Patter? Cassie, you made me happy. Oh, it's so nice to hear you all talk like that. It looks fabulous. I never thought of using the roving. Yeah, absolutely, Maud. Go for it. I'm very excited. Can do this while watching TV with my hubby, unlike felting where I stab myself. Do you know, it's not just the stabbing yourself, it's also the drives my family crazy. But then that's quite fun too at times. Very excited. Oh yes, that's right. It was wonderful. Thank you so much, Steffi. As always, you have brightened my day. Oh, thank you, Faith. It's really nice to have you back. I hope you're all right. All my dogs will get a rug. I can't wait to see them. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching and me here again. I feel I've been in a bit of instead of I don't know, in the fast lane, I've been a bit in the slow lane today. I don't know whether it's the stabbing that just makes me more hyper and happy, and the weaving is a lot more, I don't know, calming maybe, I don't know, but then stabbing is calming too. So I've no idea. I just feel like today I was in the slow lane. So maybe it's because I haven't made too many major bloopers. That could be the cause as well. So anyway, it doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for watching. Keep a lookout on everything else that we're doing. We have so many interesting things that are coming up, and I think the next one is on Tuesday, and we're doing baubles. So if you've watched this week's bauble tutorial, that was the robin and the Christmas pudding, which of course is still on YouTube, so you can find it. And then our next live stream is next week, and we're making reindeer and penguin baubles. Nearly forgot what we're doing. I'm really looking forward to that one because the reindeers can look really, really cheeky. I suppose weaving a rug, I can't really put a face to it. I can't make it. Ooh, face mask. You could make face masks. Woven face masks. How about that? Now there's an idea. I've decided that I'm not going to wear any sewn face masks. I've decided to knit my own face mask. So there. I just need to be different. I haven't seen anybody with a knitted face mask, so I'm trying to be one of the first. Certainly where I live. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's all. Yes, so get weaving. Let us know how you're getting on. And until then, I will see you all next week or whenever. And have a lovely time. Join our happy place anytime because we're on YouTube. Tell your friends. Let's get our subscribers up and let's get lots more people watching and just be happy like we all are. Take care, everybody, and I see you very, very, very soon.